Welcome to my version of First Things First, Nick's tiers headed into Week 10. Now, I do my tiers a little differently. I only focus on this past week. That way, it's intended to have these tiers actually move week to week to week, where one minute you could be at the top, the next minute you can be at the bottom. There's no predictions, there's no factoring in so much of how great we believe the team to be in. It's how did you play this past week? Were you great? Were you not great? What are some of the other factors? Were you playing a great team? Were you playing a bad team? Was it a close game? Should it have been a close game? A bunch of these variables. The trickiest part is to try to avoid that just because you beat a really bad team. Therefore, now you're at the top. Still trying to figure out how best to navigate that because I don't want it to always be like, oh, you beat this team 35-5, therefore now you're at the top. 5 would be a weird score. So still trying to figure that part out. But the great thing about these rankings are, about these tiers are that they've now been officially voted the most accurate tiers in the world for NFL rankings. So it's pretty cool. I appreciate it. Like I said, for my mountain, for my quarterback tiers, everyone keeps saying that they're the most accurate, the best, the greatest tiers, the greatest rankings that they've ever seen. So, I appreciate it. It's it's an honor. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to give you these tiers. So, without further ado, let's jump into it. We got the Dallas Cowboys, the Indianapolis Colts, and the Washington Commanders. As soon as I put this up, I realized, you know what? I should actually put the Commanders even lower because I think it's just so irritating how they handled Jaden Daniels. And I just think I just hate it. There's no other way to put it. Don't even want to linger on it for that much longer. The Indianapolis Colts, you were at the top. Now you are at the bottom. Again, it's just week to week. Still think the Indianapolis Colts are a great team is what it is. That was a rough game. Credit to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They made that a rough game. So the credit really does goes to the Steelers, but having the Colts really do that is just pretty next level. The Dallas Cowboys, Monday Night Football at home, supposed to beat this unstoppable force. Dak Prescott, Jerry Jones in the house, Stephen A. Smith there for some weird reason live streaming that game. Not everyone can even watch that game because of the dispute. We had a party. We had thousands of people. We were chilling. We were riding high. And that was bad game by the Dallas Cowboys. That was a bad game by Dak and the offense in general. I expected more from that offense. I figured the defense gave up 27 points to a backup quarterback. Jacoby Brissett's been playing great, so it's hard to give him like the category of just like a backup quarterback. He was wildly impressive that game, and really the offense could not keep up. I mean, again, the defense obviously is not good for the Cowboys, but you expect better from the offense, and they could not. So that was a rough one. That was a rough one for Dak and company. Now we got this next category, the do better. Kermit the Frog. Do better, be better. So I got the Bears and the Bengals still together because that game was so insane. I'm both impressed by what the Chicago Bears were able to do, and I'm both impressed by what the Cincinnati Bengals were able to do. And I'm both ashamed and embarrassed by what the Chicago Bears allowed the Bengals to do. And I'm both ashamed and embarrassed by what the Bengals allowed the Chicago Bears to do. So the game was just wild. The game, I mean, like, how do you honestly make sense of a game like that? It's just so insane. You got to be better, man. Both teams, you got to be better. Both teams are just a little bit better. It's like game set match like that. Literally, both those teams, if they're just 3% better, they could be skyrocketing to the top of the NFL, but they just can't seem to get that 2-3% better. The Jacksonville Jaguars, it took you to overtime, okay? And the Raiders going for 2 in overtime. The Raiders are terrible. Geno Smith cooking it's unbelievable. Nick seemingly has more confidence that the Denver Broncos are going to drop the ball than the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. I really do not know what you're doing. The Green Bay Packers, that's a tough game, man. Tucker Kraft going down. That's a gut punch. Hardly a great game from Jordan Love. I mean, he made 2 throws where you were just like, Ah, please, no, no, Jordan, no, 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 no. Saw the one meme where it was really funny, about Jordan Love, and it was just like, blank this. I'm sure there's defend. I'm sure there's Carolina Panthers defenders somewhere, and he just like, and it's just like, of him just like launching it, and you are like, what are you doing right now? And you know, listen, the Carolina Panthers, they're obviously a feisty team. They're obviously better than I'm giving them credit for. I still am not sold on them because I still don't understand how they're coming away with some of these wins. It's still so bizarre to me. But the Green Bay Packers got to be, I don't care how actually sneaky competitive the Carolina Panthers are. I expect so much more from Jordan Love and the Packers team. Uh, and I don't expect you to lose a game 16-13. And now you've had a couple random games where the scores were kind of like that. And it's just like you got to do better. You have real Super Bowl aspirations here. The Denver Broncos, they apparently only like to play football. This is true in the fourth quarter. And when they're down, it's like the only time that they want to even remotely decide to play football. Um, you're going up against a backup quarterback. Listen, the Houston Texans have a great defense, no question about it. An elite defense. I'd been talking about that leading up to this game. I still expect the Denver Broncos to have an offense that can still be better against an elite defense. That's my expectations for this Denver Broncos team. I, I have high expectations for them. Uh, and when you're going up against a backup quarterback who just got thrown in the, I mean, CJ Shaw was moving the ball. And at one point, I don't have my notes near me, but like the vast majority of plays, there was such an imbalance of Texans plays in Broncos territory, then Broncos plays in Texans territory. And again, two great defenses, right, going toe to toe. So this was a defensive game, but when you're going up against a backup quarterback, I'm that gap just should be greater. It should be bigger. You should be able to make some of these plays happen. Not just in the final 8 minutes of the fourth quarter. So again, it's like right now for me, the Broncos are just, you got to be better. You got to be better because if you're going to dethrone the Chiefs, if you're going to win the division, you got to do better. Got to do better. Then you can't be in danger if you are the danger. This is one of the more different tiers. The 49ers, they keep finding ways to win, and they're so Christian McCaffrey centric that this team is so decimated by injuries, right? And now they're like most injury prone player, Christian McCaffrey, where people were like, myself included, were like, is this guy ever going to be able to really play football ever again? Or if he does, is he going to be at a high level? They're relying on him. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like this team cannot stay healthy. They have their backup quarterback who's been playing awesome. Mac Jones has been fantastic. But this offense, this whole team is just living by Christian McCaffrey, by his calves, his hamstrings, his knees, his Achilles. You're just like, uh, and it's kind of crazy. It's kind of poetic in a weird way. The Chargers. I mean, they literally. I got to check my email. They might be emailing me asking me to be on the offensive line right now. They just literally are calling people up from the streets. This would be a movie right now with the Chargers where they're just like trying to, it's like they need like some guy who's like a garbage man or something and like some teacher who used to be a football player. But he's long retired now and he never really got his chance in college and now they're like, we need you. And he's like, I'm just a science teacher. And they're like, no, we need you. And then he like I mean like it's like a Disney movie at this point, man. Not even a real Disney movie, like a Disney Channel original movie. You're just like, what are we doing right now? Like they're just I just what are they doing? They're still winning some games. I mean, it's a lot closer against the Tennessee Titans than you would ever want it to be or that it should be. But it's just like I don't know, man. Are you going to survive this or not? I don't know. The Baltimore Ravens. Listen. That game was both weirdly competitive and not competitive at all against Miami Dolphins. It was a big win and an important win because they had to win. Obviously, I'm pretty sure they have to go undefeated from this point. If that's what the math ends up being, and Lamar Jackson coming back again, really impressive in isolation. But like that game was actually like, if it wasn't for a really bad play call, a couple weird decisions, like the Dolphins were there, and that's what everyone even said, even in the post game, or also during halftime, like their, you know, Amazon Thursday night crew, whatever. And I agreed with like the Dolphins were weirdly in that game ready to go. Um, and so you do need to see better football from the Baltimore Ravens. Again, I give them the benefit of the doubt because of all the things that they had been dealing with. But you know, you're still living a little dangerously. The Atlanta Falcons, listen, they obviously lost. They lost to the Patriots. Patriots have been an unbelievable team. Patriots have been playing great. Drake May has been playing great. The Atlanta Falcons are such a hot and cold team, which I really attribute to coaching. And, you know, Drake Mays was sacked a million times once again, forcing turnovers, fumbles, interceptions, whatnot. Drake May was playing, or excuse me, um, Drake London was playing unbelievable, making insane catches. Michael Penix was playing fantastic. And it's just like if you get that version of your team consistently, you're not going to win every game, of course, as you learned, but you're right there. You're literally right there. Like you have it. You have the potential. You have it. They just can't, with any degree of consistency, make it happen. But it was an impressive game. They held the Patriots to only 3 points in the second half, I believe it was. But they still couldn't come away with the win. So, you know, you are the danger. And then the Detroit Lions, they seemingly can either really make us believe that they're back to being that truly elite. Oh my God, this team is just exhausting to play because they just grind you into pulp. Or they let J.J. McCarthy in his third game ever on the road as like a 10-point underdog go in there and make some huge throws and win the game and make Jared Goff, you know, feel uncomfortable for the whole game. Like, that's what the Detroit Lions should have done to J.J. McCarthy and that Minnesota Vikings offense, right? Like, that's how that game should have looked, and it wasn't. They could never quite get the momentum when they're going to kick a field goal and be like, okay, it's a one-score game. No, it's like a blocked field goal. And, you know, it just never was quite right for the Detroit Lions. And really, what was really carrying so much energy, what made you actually feel that the Detroit Lions were right there and ready to pop and ready to be exhausting as they are, and those dogs that they are, the Lions that they are, was because of the crowd. Like when I think about that game now, I think about like everything felt so much extra intense and relentless. Not really necessarily because of the Detroit Lions play, it was because of the Detroit Lions fans. They were in it start to finish. Like they were not giving up. They were trying to will their team to greatness, and they just they couldn't do it quite that game. And so you have to draw. You're living dangerously. Now we got, I don't know what to say. So here's a cat with a mop on its head. All five of these teams are fascinating to me. The Kansas City Chiefs, they played the Bills. And again, these are singular game basis, obviously, of how you played this last week. But it's still going with the frame of reference of you still understand for the most part. You're playing a good team. You've been a good team. You're playing a bad team, right? It's not so much of Patrick Mahomes winning all the Super Bowls, and the Chiefs were in the last few Super Bowls tickets. It's not that, but it is still needing to use some sort of foundational background. But the Kansas City Chiefs going up against the Buffalo Bills on the road, big game, huge game. Both teams need it. Both teams need it. And Patrick MS played not good. And again, I credit the Buffalo Bills defense more than anything. And it was still a one-score game. You still do feel like Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs, we're going to see them in the playoffs. And it was still a one sore game. The the angst in that game, the intensity of that game. It's like all the Buffalo Bills needed was to make one mistake and the Kansas City Chiefs win that game, and they made a half a mistake by missing the field goal. Either going for the field goal or missing the field goal, however you want to look at it. And that did give the Kansas City Chiefs a legitimate opportunity. So, uh, if they made a full mistake, the Chiefs are probably right there, right? If they fumble, if they turn the ball over, there you go. So, I still, I was almost tempted to still put the Chiefs and the Bills together, but I opted not to. The Minnesota Vikings, I mean, they these last few weeks, they really showed not a lot of heart. They really felt like they were kind of coming apart. And this team, JJ McCarthy, again, I don't see this game as JJ carrying the Minnesota Vikings by any stretch of the imagination in that game. He played, he both played awesome in such key moments and then not so awesome in other moments. But the team as a whole absolutely rose to the occasion. The defense, the offense, the coaching staff. That was a really, really, really impressive win because that was such a game. It's such an easy game for you to get rolled by where you're just like, man, we're coming apart. We're not good this season. Now we have JJ McCarthy, who he had been struggling, and now he gets thrown into like, it would just be so easy to be like, the Vikings, they don't have a chance here. And everybody could feel it, and they did not feel it. They felt the opposite. And it was an intense environment. They rose to the occasion. Wildly impressive. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. I could have put the Pittsburgh Steelers at the very top, but like they had 6 turnovers. And listen, I know the final score ended up being 2,720. It's the NFL games always end up being weirdly close no matter what happens. But they had, what was it, 6 turnovers or 5 turnovers? I forget the official number off the top of my head. A lot of turnovers, and yet it was still just a one sore game. Even so that, and again, it's not like that game ever necessarily truly felt close. But when you get that many interceptions, that many fumbles, like I should hope you score at least like 30 some points, 28 points. Couldn't even score 28 points. It was a great game. Again, I'm being a stickler in these moments because I want these rankings to fluctuate. I just don't want it to be obvious. Oh, the Steelers beat the Colts are at the top now. Or oh, so and so rolled this bad team. They're at the top now. Like it's meant to make things just, to be harsher, I guess, so to speak, honestly. And also praise some teams that deserve some praise like the Atlanta Falcons, even though they obviously lost and haven't been able to be very consistent. So the Steelers are slightly on the negative receiving end of of this moment. And that's where the Carolina Panthers now are on the positive receiving end of this moment. I mean, again, who the heck are the Carolina Panthers? I mean, like, who, what even are you right now? I don't even know what to say. I don't even know how to make sense of this team. I think this is the first time I actually put them on Lucas's ladder. Because I'm just like, they kept winning kind of some of these random games, and I'm like, yeah, it was a random game. Who cares, like, it was just a catch game. But like they keep finding ways to win and they beat other teams, and you're just like, does anyone really believe that the Carolina Panthers are going to be able to do anything when it matters most? Like I don't know. And they had a little bit of this weird energy last year. They almost beat the Philadelphia Eagles last season. You could have made the army that they should have beat the Philadelphia Eagles last year. Bryce Young played great, honestly. That was a team that went on to obviously win the Super Bowl. So I don't know. Like I said, that's why I said I don't know what to say. So here's a cat with a mop on its head. And then the New England Patriots. I mean, Drake May has been playing awesome. This wasn't hardly a perfect game. They went up against a great defense, the Atlanta Falcons. He had some turnovers and whatnot, had some beautiful throws as well, a lot of nice runs as well. But like he's still being sacked at such an insane. I mean, like every single game, it's just he has five, or it's just guaranteed. You could just look at the box like, oh, he's probably been sacked 5 or 6 times. You don't even have to watch the game. You just know it. Uh, and it's just like, and yet it doesn't seem to hurt this team. I don't even know how it's possible because I think it was Vrail. I think it was Vabel. His head coach had a soundbite. I think I have it saved on my phone somewhere where he's the one that came out and said like, you do not want to take sacks. When you take a sack, there's a 30% chance of like your chances of scoring on that drive just plumb. I'm almost positive there's a soundbite available. I'll have to hunt through my bookmarks to try to find it. Um, but the fact that this man just keeps getting sacked relentlessly, and yet they don't suffer negative consequences for it. How do you make sense of that? Like I don't know. I really don't. Just crazy to me. Um, and then we got the Rams, the Bills, and the Seahawks. Um, you're probably like, why is there toilet paper there? What it is it's is it you ever watch that show? I've only seen it a couple times. Watch it with my niece and nephew. Very random show. Uh, or is it Cake or something? Uh, where they show you like objects and you don't know like, is it cake? Is it not cake? Uh, Sometimes it's like a real object. Sometimes it's cake or whatever. And so that's what these three team is making me think of right now. They're all feeling amazing right now. They are all feeling unbelievable. Matthew Stafford is apparently the MVP candidate, the number one MVP candidate right now. Rams top team 34-10, but you beat the Saints, beat terrible team. They've been feasting on a lot of bad teams, and any of the good teams that they played, specifically like the Eagles, they lost. The Bills, the Bills had a couple really rough, weird games, but now when it came down to it, they're playing the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Josh Allen plays perfect. His highest completion percentage of all time. Patrick Mahomes, his lowest completion percentage of all time. And yet, it still was a one sore game. It still came down to like, oh, what are they going to do? Of the Chiefs convert a 4th and 17 with a beautiful play call by Andy Reid. And like again, right? Like if you're a Bills fan, you're feeling great, you're feeling hype, you're like, let's go, let's go. But you're also like, please do that in the playoffs. And like, please do that in the playoffs. So like it's like, is it cake or is it just, a roll of toilet paper? And the same thing with the Seattle Seahawks. Someone I made a video earlier today, and someone was like, hey, you're talking about Stafford feasting on on bad teams. Like, what about the Seahawks? And yeah, it's a valid point. That's why I always say when every time you're trying to talk about the opposing, when you're talking about the opposing teams that you're beating and playing, like it does matter to me. And but it is a very nuanced thing that like it's hard to put into words. It's not all or nothing. It's not like any of the teams that you beat are bad and any of the teams that you play that are good or bad. Like it's just it's tricky. You got to wrestle with some of these things. You got to kind of make sense. You're playing a bad team like the Saints, but did they actually play pretty well? And did they actually play pretty well because you played bad or because they actually just had a great game that game? Like that happens plenty of times. Um, and the Seattle Seahawks, like they destroy the Commanders who are decimated with injuries. Not that great of a team. And I said that going into this game. Jane Daniels goes down, but also Sam Darnold's playing out of his mind. Jackson Smith and Jigba out of his mind. Now they even got Horton involved, like, everybody was involved in that game. Great defense, everything. Nobody was ever open, but it was against a team that is really struggling. No Terry McLaurin, et cetera, et cetera. Jaden Daniels' first game back. And so, again, three teams that I think are great, three teams that I think have the potential to be special. But it is, that's why I said I'm taking a slightly harsher view of all of these teams right now. Uh, you know, so I'm not just constantly just saying nothing but positives or nothing but negatives. So I think those three teams at the top have all the reason to be super happy and feel great after this week, but also kind of like be careful, be careful. The most competitive game that the Seahawks had was to the Bucks, and they lost, right? The most competitive, the other really competitive game that they had against the 49ers, they lost. So it's just is what it is. And the Bills right now, again, they're feeling good, but it's like they're not even winning the division, right? They're losing the tiebreaker to the Patriots right now. They're losing to Drake May, second year quarterback, first full-time year starter. It's like, you know, so there you go. The Rams, you got the Seahawks dealing with right now. Um, and you lost to the Eagles. The best team you played, you lost to. Yeah, those are my tiers right now. It's always the same idea behind these tiers in terms of the same base level of how I'm trying to organize these teams in a way that allows a ton of mobility, as I always keep trying to emphasize. But I think now that we have some separation, we know the Raiders are just not very good. We know the Texans have a great defense, but their offense is awful, right? We know the Falcons are so inconsistent. We know the Titans. Like, who are the Titans and the Saints and right now? And so I am trying to figure out that, like, if the Eagles roll the Saints and the Rams roll the Titans, like I'm just trying to find ways of still how to rank these teams uh, in a way that can kind of make sense. That's not just automatically putting teams at the way bottom or putting teams at the top, like the Bengals losing to the Bears, and not be like, okay, now they're at the bottom, or the Packers losing to the Panthers and now like, oh wow, you lost to a team that's not so great, or you lost to the Browns. Now you're at the bottom trying to figure out the best way to do it in the way that's the most interesting and entertaining way possible. And I think I did it this way. This, I think, as hard as it was, I think this is one of my more favorite ways I did the tiers, because I tried to do it through a pretty critical lens, and because, again, I think the Steelers are a perfect example of this. Like losing to the Packers, having a tough game, and then knocking out the Colts, who have been great, and all those turnovers. Like, I could easily put them at the way top and just be like, that was an unbelievable win. And I did say that in their own individual video when I was talking about them and looking at it through a different lens. I always talk about looking at things through lenses. Um, and so, yeah, I don't know, trying something, still trying to figure the best way to kind of do this whole thing. But at the very least, it's meant to be a jumping off point for a conversation, and to just think about how these teams played this past weekend and in general, so we don't have the same conversations over and over and over and over and over. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Lucas's ladder? How do you feel about these rankings? Obviously, the teams that haven't played, they're not there. Just the way it goes. Would you move up? Who would you move down? How you feeling? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment. So, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much.